Thanks, everybody. I was hoping you'd all gone home, so this is feeling under pressure now. Bit of mix-up on the timings. I think I'm going until 5 o'clock now, luckily for you. Otherwise, you nearly had me for an hour. So I'm going to start. So yeah, basically, I'm on a mission to make Moodle easier to use for everybody, and really looking at how we change course design and how we make Moodle more familiar to our learners. I'm also known as like the Moodle Netflix guy, which is a bit weird, but I'm not about binge learning and those kind of things. It's more about going where the users already are. So building interfaces, building Moodles that actually look and feel and behave just like you'd expect them to behave on more commercial, sort of popular platforms. So how do we design an experience that learners already know, that learners hopefully already love? And how do we borrow some of those techniques and some of those tools and some of those design ideas and put those into Moodle? So I don't know if there's any parents in the room, but I'm a dad of 2 teenage girls, and they've watched the whole of Netflix twice, and apparently they've completed YouTube as well. I don't know if that's possible, but they have done. But on average, Netflix users spend about 3.2 hours a day streaming content. And 75% of that actually comes from personalized recommendations that Netflix is pulling through on that homepage, where it's trying to hook you in and get you to binge watch, obviously, the next series or next movie. And so it's a term that's coined the streaming generation. And they don't just prefer this user interface, they actually demand it, they expect it, things should work in a certain way. So this is the problem that we've got with Moodle. Ultimately, if we deliver a poor user experience, we end up with confused learners, frustrated learners, and ultimately learners that might drop out or disengage with the Moodle platform. So it says there, that's my posh bit about cognitive load theory, just so I can look intelligent. But really, it's just saying that the mental effort should go into the actual content and not figuring out how to use the system. And if we all had a pound for when the term clunky has been used for Moodle, then we wouldn't be in here. I wouldn't be stood here anyway. So the good UX is all about turning passive users into active learners, and that's really what this is all about. We want to improve that learning process. So how do we turn Moodle from the thing on your left to the thing on the right? So Moodle, out of the box, as you know, not the greatest experience. Luckily, there are a big bunch of themes that try and address that and try and sort of dress that up, but we need to go a little bit further in there as well. So we'll start to look at what I've called the anatomy of the streaming service. So we're going to peel a layer back now just off Netflix. That's Netflix, but not as you know it. I had to redraw that for copyright reasons. But basically, it starts with a big call to action, so a big grabber at the start, which says, hey, you need to watch this, you need to know about this. Click a play button or click more information. And then underneath, you've got effectively Moodle course tiles. And this will show you what's new. There's some metadata on the tiles. There's some information such as new episodes, new series. And then beneath that, you've got your continue watching. And in Moodle speak, that would be continue learning. And then all you do is you just add some paint to this. So it goes from this, and then it looks like this. And suddenly that call to action now looks engaging, it looks inviting, and obviously all the tiles and all the pretty pictures just make it a much more, a better experience that you can connect with. But really it's smoke and mirrors. It's the bit behind it that's important. It's the simplicity, and it's instinctively knowing what to do. This one is Disney Plus. Almost identical to Netflix experience, but just a little bit simpler. There's no call to action button. The whole header is the call to action, so you click the header, and then you've got 5 or 6 category tiles, which would be Moodle category tiles, and then you've got your episodes or your courses underneath. And I had to draw that for copyright reasons as well. So it's got those similar narrative, it's got a similar experience, so you intuitively know what to do. And the reason it works so well is because most people will consume this on a television with a remote control. What's interesting though, if you use these platforms on a desktop with a mouse, you get a slightly different experience, and you get hover states when you're moving over the tiles. And that's what happens on Netflix. You may not see it if you only use the television app, but if you go on the desktop, this is what happens. And this to me is a course card. This is the thing that the user will see on their My Moodle dashboard. Again, copyright reasons, but it's coming out soon as that. You can see on there, it starts with an image. So it's that image that draws that user in. They're going to connect with that image and hopefully resonate with it. And then we've got really simple buttons. We've got the play button. Well, we all know what that does. It's universal. We have a plus icon, so we're guessing that's going to add it to something, maybe a preferred list or something like that, and a thumbs up. We should all universally know what a thumbs up means. And then you've got some metadata underneath, so you've got tags and other things. That's Amazon's. A little bit more complicated, a lot more going on. What Amazon do, though, is they actually move the title of the thing you're watching underneath the image, which is far more accessible than placing it on top of the image, but it's ultimately the same thing. And we know how to use it because it's what's called a mental model. It's ingrained in us. We're reinforcing that mental model. We know what these icons mean. We know instinctively what it is we should be doing. And at least this feeling of is, I just know how to do this. We're not learning a new system from scratch. We're just cracking on, basically. And we want to leverage these behaviors, want to leverage these trends. And I believe that a Moodle course that mimics this behavior removes the friction of finding the next thing. And it turns it into a much more seamless act of consuming content, of consuming courses and learning materials. And then when we organize a course in that way, it's the continuous flow. So it aligns with what we already do. So we scroll through content, we're scrolling through courses, we scroll through our e-learning activities. And it becomes, as I've said on this slide, it becomes more like exploring a curated system as opposed to finding a way around a clunky Moodle system. There's a little bit of psychology behind this as well. It's called an affordance for anyone who's designy. And what I'm showing on screen now is this universal thing. Everybody knows what that button does there. And it even goes back to old VHS Betamax days, if anyone's old enough to remember those, and CD players and cassette players and all that thing. It's kind of carried on as we've been going along. And then the icon on the right is obviously some form of power, some form of battery, and we just universally know this. And we also know what a Wi-Fi symbol looks like or a phone strength signal. There's no need for words on that. It's universal. It's a universal language, and it's iconography. I think good UX is all about removing decisions. The more we can take away, we can be more creative with those restraints. And it's about making it really, really simple. Going back to my kids again, with all the content people have now, with unlimited music, unlimited films, we find ourselves with too much content, we can't actually make a decision. But what these streaming companies do really well is they kind of help us with that choice as much as they can by promoting content to the front page and just making it a far sexier user experience. And it does feel effortless when you're doing this. So let's do it. How do we do this in Moodle? So I've been spending a lot of time looking into this, looking at course formats, building course formats and things just to try and I guess mimic this really, just as an experiment to see if it flies. And this is my wireframe of the tile, which I started with. So this would be the course tile, so the thing you see on your My Moodle dashboard. And things are in a certain order on purpose that I felt worked for this. So the first thing I would like to see is if there's expiry information on there, how many days do I have left? And the streaming platforms do this really well. They'll say, this course, this film is being removed in 5 days. It gives this sense of urgency that you have to watch it now or it's going to disappear forever. And then obviously the big course image works. Then I'm pulling in tags, so things like, is it mandatory, is it optional? Again, things you need the learner to see. And then the course title, and then some metadata underneath, such as whether it's in progress, not yet started, completed, and then any other metadata that we'd want to include. So it ends up going from this to this. Again, just putting a layer of paint over the top, all the thoughts done behind it. Now you can just have fun with the images. But the images that you choose are super important. People spend a lot of time on YouTube picking the right thumbnail, because people only kind of engage with things when it's got a nice picture. And that's why sometimes what you think you're going to watch on YouTube isn't what you end up watching. They've just tricked you with a thumbnail, but it's a clever ploy. And then when you combine all these together, you end up with something like this on your dashboard. So you have a series of tiles, and then you could split those into in progress, completed, not yet done, continue learning, all those kind of things that learners are used to seeing in a streaming platform. And again, pictures and things go a long way. So then this is great, and there's a lot of course formats that already do this, and you think, yep, it's looking good. But then the problem we have with Moodle is the more we go into it, the more it looks Moodle-y again. So we've got to continue this narrative, we've got to continue this experience. So we need to look at what an activity tile looks like. So the activity tile should be similar to the course tile, but we don't need as much information now because we've already brought them in. So this is about selling this PDF or selling this quiz, ideally. And again, we have the completion status at the top, a nice image, and then the activity name. And then we can dress this up again with pictures and things start to look interesting. And we can also introduce just some tags as well on there, just to add a bit more context to the activity. You could put, for example, estimated time duration or difficulty level or anything like that on the tile. And then Moodle went out and brought subsections, which was fun, right in the middle of me building this. So then I had to figure out how I was going to do that. And I just thought, well, let's just treat it as an activity. We don't have to do anything special with it. So we can just take the thing we've already got, and then the only thing I had to do for it was basically put a completion state at the top. So looking at all the activities inside the subsection, when they've been marked complete, it needs to just feed back to that tile to let the learner know that they've done everything that needed to be done inside there. And when you stitch all that together, you then get quite a nice flow then. So you've gone from the dashboard into the subsection, and then you see a list of subsections like this. And when you click into that and you go further, then you've got your course activities. And again, you can put tags on course activities, you show the completion state, you put the name of the activity away from the image for accessibility, so it's not plastered over the top. And then things start to look quite interesting, and you just follow that narrative through the entire course. And you'll notice there's a back to course button up there because that still freaks people out on Moodle. I was saying this earlier, people still don't know what a breadcrumb trail is. And if you say that to a 15-year-old, just click on the breadcrumb trail, they literally don't know what you're talking about. So I just put a big back to course button at the top that just takes you back to where you'd expect to be. But how do we handle access restrictions? How do we make it not complicated? How do we make it kind of work in this flow? So I just went the simple way, just to dim an activity that's restricted, and then a little padlock at the top right. I originally put the access restrictions over the tile, but in Moodle land you can have loads of access restrictions, so the whole thing just was getting a bit too complicated and detracted from the visuals. So now when you move your mouse over, or you click it, or you tab into it, it pops up and it tells you what the access restrictions are. And then you can do things like hide that content so it becomes available to that learner as they're progressing through the course, very similar to what other people do. How are we doing? But I did not expect this one. So on Netflix, you scroll to the right. You go down to a section and you click on your remote control and go to your right. So I thought, yeah, well, let's do that. That's cool. I didn't meet a single Moodler that liked that after I deployed that. Everyone likes to scroll up and down, and nobody liked to scroll across in the tiles. When I asked them why, they said it just didn't feel intuitive with a mouse, and it didn't feel intuitive on a mobile phone. People don't like to scroll across on a mobile phone, only up and down. So I had to change that, which was fun. But there you go, you live and learn. So it does make sense on a television with a remote control, because you've got that screen space, you've got that 16:9 aspect ratio on your television, but again, on a laptop or a mobile phone, it's a different experience. So now it was time to put all it together. So I got really excited at this point and thought, I'm ready, I've cracked this, I've done this. And then I realized that I still needed a call to action, and I still needed a funky way to show the video content. Once you get past all these nice tiles, you landed on a page, and you went, oh, that's a bit not quite what I wanted to do. So then we set about building a call to action. The picture at the top just shows the design behind it, really simple, and then you can just add the whiz bang and the flavour, if you like, on top of that. And this could be promoting a new course, but I also been thinking this could be a way to resume content. So when you go on your My Moodle dashboard, this could be the last thing you were doing as an activity, and now activities can have images. We can actually display that as an image, so it entices that learner to go back in, which is good. So I nailed that, and then I thought, right, now I need a way to show video. So then we built this. We're going to open source this, hopefully next month. I've just got to figure out how to make it work in Workplace. I'm brand new to Workplace, so don't know how that all works yet, but it shouldn't be too difficult. So yeah, I built this playlist tool, and what that allows you to do is use Vimeo links or YouTube links, and all the teacher has to do is paste that in, and then it takes care of all the embedding and all the code, and you can build a custom playlist, and it loads in real time. So when you click on one of the thumbnails on the side, it just instantly loads and brings in the teacher information underneath. So there's no technical wizardry needed for the teacher. So then we've got hopefully now, a full seamless way to display courses from the moment they land on that dashboard right through. And if video is your thing, then we've even got the video player. Yeah, and then this is what it looks like when you get to the end. So that's what it looks like on an iPad. If you're in an office, you could look like this. And if you're at home eating popcorn, you could be learning all about ancient Egypt on Moodle. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I've got some time for questions as well, if anyone wants to ask.
Thank you very much, Lewis. Yeah, we do have quite a lot of time for questions, actually, different finishing times in the other rooms, but we will all be here about 15:15 for a slightly earlier end session. So please, if you've got any questions to try and get your Moodle courses like that, put your hands up. Oh, there's one over there. Oh.
Here you go.
I know you've recently been acquired by another company, but I think Moodle HQ should have required you.
No, in all seriousness, thank you for your presentation and exciting work. Did you get in touch with the people, one of them managing and curating about the Boost Union theme? They do some things like that also on specifically the course titles?
No, not really reached out to. We've done a lot of testing with users, with clients and things like that, and got a lot of feedback from people that are using it, but no, I didn't collaborate with any other Moodlers, but we can now.
Have you got a live demo? And my other question was, who's using it so far? Like, what is it being used in long-term courses yet, or out there?
Yeah, we've got it in the other job, in the other gig. Got quite a few clients already using that course format and really getting on board with it. Some of it was born out of a bit of frustration with, and I love the tiles format. I love what Dave Watson done with the tile format. It was really kind of a big shift for Moodle at the time. But a lot of people were saying they didn't like the way it used Java to drop it down. You got a bit lost in where you were in your course and things like that. So it was a bit over-engineered. And I wrestle with this quite a lot. So being a designer, I want to make everything simple, but being a programmer, I want to add the kitchen sink and everything to it. So it's about reining it back. So I just try and make it as simple as possible. And yeah, a lot of people are liking the simplicity of it. I think people like how clean it is and just how easy it is and obvious it is to click on things.
And I'm sorry, I missed the first 7 minutes, so maybe you said it, but at the end it went down to activities, right? So are those activities basically just a video, or like what are they generally? When you click on one of those last things, that's why it'd be nice to see a live demo of how it actually looks and works.
Yeah, it can fall flat when you land on a Moodle page or something like that. It's nice if it links to a quiz. So they'll land on any Moodle activity.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just then the next step is to try and make the activities a bit more.
I think it obviously would lend itself more to a sort of micro-learning type course, like corporate courses particularly, I would think, right? Is that what your target is?
It's used on all kinds of courses. So the way it's been built, you can still use topics and you can collapse them as well. I probably didn't show it on there. So you can still have that structure. You can hide topic 0 as well. So you're welcome. But you can basically still structure your course in a very similar way that you can in Moodle with the topics. So yeah, it is good for micro and bite-sized courses, but also still works just as well on some big courses. We have some users using it. We work with a big fire department, and they're using this for all of their courses now. It works nice when you drop into a H5P element as well, because it kind of follows that interaction right through.
We have one here.
Hello, Louis. Congratulations. It's always a pleasure to see what you come up with. And for the gentleman in the back, some, including myself, have supported Louis' candidacy to become a Moodle partner before he got acquired by Titus. I hope you'll be available for work in the future still. More regarding your presentation, we often encounter issues with the various format in responsive. In other words, when you use something on your computer, it doesn't really work the same on Android, and it doesn't really work the same on Apple. And I wondered how you got around that, and also is what you do compatible with the mobile app of Moodle that is a bit difficult to handle sometimes?
Yeah, so I decided we went down the whole PHP route with it, just to keep it simple, and just native bootstrap really for a lot of it. So it does work on all devices and it is responsive and works really well. No, it doesn't work on the Moodle app, and that's just me being lazy, to be honest, only because it's very difficult to get a course format working nice on the Moodle app. But yeah, there is plans to make it work on that. And who knows, we might be building stuff in React and stuff soon. So it's an exciting time to be working with Moodle.
Hi, Dionysus here from UCL, University College London. My question has to do about the grid format and the 3 different ways that we have around the world of reading. We have left to right, obviously, in this part of the world. We have right to left, and we have top to bottom. How would that grid format work in an international course where you have people from all over the world? They wouldn't know which one is first and which one is last, wouldn't they?
Correct. I'm an ignorant Englishman who only thinks about left to right. No, it's a really good question. I mean, it does need, obviously, further development and further work. I wouldn't know, to be honest, but it's a nice challenge to have. I think for me, it's just been about proof of concept. It's an itch I've had to scratch, and I just wanted to see if it works and if people are excited by it, and to see it in the wild. And it's been nice to get that feedback from it. But yeah, certainly we need to look at how do we handle, different languages.
I'm taking the opportunity, as we're sitting here with nothing to do, quite a few people said they'd love to see a bit of a more demo of that course format. So would you like, come up and show us.
You thought you'd got rid of me, but I'm back. So I'm just going to show some examples. This is my Moodle playground. It's just where I build and break things. It might break because it's a live demo. Bear with me. On that dashboard, so just looking at this, these are just made up courses because, like I said, this is a demo site. But these are all the courses that are in progress. Showing my little course tiles. And then if I scroll down, these are courses that have passed my deadline. So these are courses I should have done, courses that are overdue. There's a little tag up there telling me just how overdue they are. And then completed courses are just down here and out of the way because I've done with those now and I might need to go back to those at a later stage. So yeah, I can click into the course. And as I said before, we've got, oh, told you. Won't do that again. Don't know what I've done there. But yeah, you've got your subtopics, if you like, or sub-activities, and then you can click into those. You see that says it's still to do, but when I go in here, and then if I just mark these as done, when I go back to the course, it marks that as completed as well, just so I can see what it is that I've got to do. So I can work through all these various courses. This is one that's not available because it's hidden. Yeah, and you can just work through these courses. And then you can do other things, like if we just go into the settings, I just kept it really minimal. You can just hide topics there, and you can hide the topics as well, just so it just looks a little bit cleaner when you're displaying this to students, just in case you don't have a course that's big and you just have one topic, then that looks a bit weird. So this is just a nice way to clean that up. So yeah, it's just subtle, just nice little mouse movements when you move over. I did consider adding more information when you move your mouse into the screen, but then I just thought that was just adding confusion, and learners might not know to trigger that to find that information. So if it's important enough, it's already going to be on there. If you add a tag to an activity, then it appears up here. So you could go into the activity, edit the settings, and then if you just put a tag, just put cheese. When you go into there, I've put a backslash on there, but you can see it's just added another tag on there as well. And then when we go back to our dashboard, I'll show you the playlist activity somewhere here. So this is the YouTube playlist activity, so you can just click between the different videos and they'll just appear just on the page. And they can be Vimeo, they can be YouTube, or there could be a video you've uploaded to Moodle itself, just in the file picker. And that just, yeah, and then the teachers can control the title and put additional information or links to things and things in there. So that's how you sort of continue that flow. And then when you combine it with a few stuff, I don't know if anybody saw this morning, but this is a sort of a continuation from this. This is called Moodle sequencing. Copyright. No, it's not really. And the idea is that it brings up if we just refresh the page. So the idea of this is that when you complete an activity and you go back to the course, a pop-up appears to kind of encourage you to do the next one. And that could have a video in, that can have an image in, and it can be sort of different wording every time. And then you've got a link that'll take you straight to that activity, then you complete it, and then it'll pop up the next one if the teacher wants to, and you can control these. And that kind of just carries on that narrative, and it just makes it feel less Moodly. It just makes it feel more like something my kids might at some stage want to engage with, which works well. And then yeah, you've got your various tiles as you're moving through the course. So yeah, that's kind of the demo of it. Yeah, thank you.